Namaskar. After taking up 7 classical plays during the last 7 days, we will be taking Chaturbhani today. During the last 7 days, we have discussed Bhasa Sapnavasodattam, Kalidasa's Abhigyan Shakuntalam, Shudrakaj Mritchikatikam, Vishakdattaj Mudra Rakshasam, Kundamala, Uttar Ramcharitam by Bhavabhuti and Another Raghav by Murari. After this, on this 8th day, we are entering into an entirely different world of Sanskrit drama. Instead of the whole grandeur and sublimity, we have a kind of underworld here in Chaturbhani. Chaturbhani means a group of 4 bhanas. So we are not talking today about one single play, but we will be discussing 4 plays of bhana variety. On the first day, I have told you about bhana, which is a form of rupaka or drama. Out of 10 types of rupakas or dash rupaka, bhana is one type and it is a one-act play. And the characteristics of bhana are described by Bharata in Natya Shastra. He says, Atmanubhuta Shanshi Bhana, Bhanastu Dhurta Charitam. These two are the main characteristics. Atmanubhuta Shanshi means a character describes his own experiences. Atmanubhuti. So the narration of experience, his own experience by a character forms the narrative in bhana. So it is a monologue. The whole play is a one-act play and it revolves around one character who is called Vita. Vita is the hero of bhana. And one single character holds the stage throughout and he holds the audience. He narrates his own life and the lives of various characters whom he sees on the way. So we have to imagine that he is seeing various characters. He is walking on the roads of a city, on the streets and on the lanes, narrow paths of a city. He is meeting his friends, his acquaintances. Many familiar faces are appearing before him. He is addressing them and he is hearing their replies, but the audience doesn't hear the replies from those characters. They are invisible, but the character on the stage, the actor performing Vita, can hear them and he uses this technique of Akash Bhashit. So Akash Bhashit is a device to convey to the audience what an invisible character has responded to an actor who is standing on the stage. So did you say this? Kim Bhanasi, the character standing on the stage asks the character of the stage who is invisible, did you say this? And then he repeats what that invisible character has said. So the audience says no, that the dialogue is going on. He is continuously talking to some people. Maybe he is talking to 50 people. The whole group of his friends, acquaintances and many other familiar faces to him of the city, they continuously one by another appear before him and he is continuously talking to them. It's a very interesting talk by one actor. He is enacting, performing maybe 50 or 60 roles single-handedly and he is repeating the dialogues which are supposed to be spoken by those invisible characters. So this is a special technique in Sanskrit drama and no other theatre perhaps in other countries, in other theatre cultures has this type of genre, that one single play revolves throughout one single character. He performs everything and he holds audience by his art of theatre. Now this bhana, because it is Dhurta Charit, it is the life of rocks it depicts and it takes us into a kind of prohibited area Varjit Kshetra, as you may say. In the modern terminology, we can say the red light area. In Sanskrit, it is called Veshvat, the locality where the courtesans, the prostitutes live. And Vita is their agent. Vita works for them. He is a unique character, though, and such characters exist right from Vedic times to our own time. So he is a man of our society. Bhana presents our society, our very familiar faces we see in Bhana. In our day-to-day life, we meet such faces. So very real society of any time. So that is why it is a cosmopolitan and cosmic type of play. It has a cosmic character. For all times it is true that these characters are found. So each city, whether it is ancient times or medieval times or modern times, has a red light area. And Vita is visiting that area. He is walking towards that area going through various streets of the city, and he is a popular person. He knows many faces, many rich persons, many characters of the city. So he, being a very social person, he addresses them, he asks about their life, what they are doing. So we get a whole picture of the city vibrating with life. The whole city is enlivened. And the pathos of the life of the courtesans, the marvelous things happening there in that locality, in that Veshvat, their joys, their suffering, everything is depicted. So it is a unique genre, this Bhana. And there are so many Bhanas in Sanskrit. We will take a brief notice of them and will come to this Chaturbhani, the group of 4 Bhanas. The characteristic of Bhana is that they are quick repartees, replies. Very quick wit is seen in the replies and responses of the wit also. And this Vita combines the characteristics of Vidushaka, Pratinayaka, Dhirodatta Nayak, Dhirlalit Nayak, Dhirodhat Nayak, Dhirshant Nayak. He is a hero in himself. He has all the qualities of great heroes and all the lowly nature. All kind of lowly nature is also there in him. He can sink lowest of the low and he can rise maybe very high than ordinary people. So this way, wit is a unique character. He is very brave. And his companions are Vidushak and Peethmarda. They go together. Wit, Vidushak and Peethmarda, these characters go together. They are described in Vatsyayana's Kama Sutra, and they were essential parts of the upper middle class society and middle class society. Vatsyayana describes the life of a Nagarika in his Kama Sutra. So a Nagarika entertains himself in the company of wit, Vidushak and Peethmarda. He has, after having his lunch, he sits for a while and has gostis with these people. So they entertain him, and this Vita also works as an agent for the courtesans, for the prostitutes. So this type of people you can find in any time. And Vita is described in several other works also in Sanskrit besides the Bhanas. Kshemendra is a well-known poet of 9th-10th century. In his Deshopdesha, a kavya describing various practices, regional practices, and various people in a city, Kshemendra describes Vita. Udanchita kacha. We go to slide number 2. Udanchita kacha kinchit chibukashmashru veshtane. Dine devagrahadisha vadanam vikshate Vita. A Vita is Udanchita kacha. His hair rising in a disheveled way. And he has Ishmashru Veshtana. Veshtana means twisting. He is twisting his Ishmashru or mustaches. He is twisting his mustaches like this, and his chibuk is raised. He has a high chibuk. And in the daytime he goes to temples, he performs worships also. He shows himself as a religious type of man. Devagrahadisha vadanam vikshate vitah dine. In the night he works for the courtesans or the prostitutes. But Vita in aristocrat society or in the society which is puritanic in its outlook might be a subject of hatred, but he has a very bright image in other section of the society. So Shamilak is a very good poet whom we are discussing today. He is the author of one Bhana, Pad Taditak, which is one of the Bhanas in Chaturbhani. He describes the appearance and the qualities of a Vita. So we go to slide number 3. This is Vita, described by the poet Shamilak. And he was a well-known poet. He is cited by several masters of literary theory. So Swai Pranairapi Vidvisha Pranainam Apatsuyo Rakshita. By sacrificing his life, he saves the lives of his near and dear ones. Pranainam Apatsu Rakshita. He saves the lives of his near and dear ones, of his beloved ones, from their enemies with Visha Rakshita. Second line is Yasyartau Bhavati Swaeva Sharanam Khadgat Dvitiyo Bhuja. Very beautiful description. In the time of crisis, Artau, in the time of Arti or calamity, Sankat, Swaeva Bhuja, Swaeva Khadgat Dvitiyo Bhuja Sharanam Bhavati. Only his arm, which is holding a sword, comes to his help. So he is simply held by his own arms. He depends on his bahubal, on his own, on the strength of his arm holding a sword. So he can fight with a sword. Such Vitas were there. They could kill people. Those who come in their way, those who are enemies or those who are working against their beloved ones. So there are quarrels in between the prostitutes or between the lovers of the prostitutes. So Vita is supposed to settle the quarrels, and if they are not, if he is unable to pacify the people, if they do not listen to him, he can go to the extent of fighting them. He is a warrior as well. Third line is Sangharshan Madanaturo Mragayate Yam Var Mukhyo Jana. Whenever there is a quarrel, Sangharsha, the Var Mukhya, the courtesans, chief courtesans, Madanatura, which are itching with love, longing with love, they seek him. They seek him and they call him and they ask him to bring their lovers. So he does it. He works as an agent for them. That is his profession. He is earning by working for the courtesans or the prostitutes. So this is the third line. The last line is Sagyayo Vita Ityapavrat Dhano Yo Nityamevarthishu. So this is Vita. So that person should be known as Vita, who is Apavrat Dhana, who has opened the gates of his money, who is very generous in distributing his money to those who are earthy or needy, those who need money and comes to seek help from him. He helps them monetarily, he helps them otherwise also. So he is a kind of, in Hindi that is the word Dada for him, Dalal is also the word. So he is such a unique character, you can say. He is one in all. He is a hero, Dhirodat, Dhir Lalit, Dhir Shant, Dhirodat hero. He is a brave person, but he is a mean person also. He is very clever, very shrewd. He can go to the depths of meanness also. So there are so many sculptures of Vitas in ancient temples. Those who are interested in archaeological sites, the students of ancient Indian history or archaeology, they might be knowing. I could only get this one. I am not a student of archaeology, but this is from Shangar Haat, which is the collection of 4 Bhanas edited by Vasudev Sharan Agrawal and Dr. Moti Chand. It is an excellent work and very good translation, very lively translation of the Chaturbhani in Hindi with a detailed introduction. So those who are interested in reading the 4 Bhanas, they should get this book, Shangar Haat or Chaturbhani, the collection of 4 Bhanas, edited with critical notes and detailed introduction by Vasudev Sharan Agrawal and Dr. Moti Chand. Both of them are towering scholars of our time. Dr. Moti Chand, a great archaeologist and scholar of history, and Vasudev Sharan Agrawal, one of the greatest scholars of 20th century in the field of Indology. They have worked on Chaturbhani. You can understand the importance of Chaturbhani or these 4 Bhanas, that such towering scholars did lot of pain, undertook lot of pains to edit this the volume of the 4 Bhanas. So we go to slide number 4, which is the sculpture from some ancient site of Evita. And you can see that it confirms the description of Kshamendra. He has raised mustaches and is holding some weapon in his hand maybe, and he has a Shirovestan. He is holding he is wearing a headgear or Ushnisha, pagdi, and appears to be a very brave personality. And we go to the next slide. These are the depictions of courtesans, and so many you can find. Shal Bhanjika, and the lady plucking the Ashoka flowers, and the lady holding a box, going to meet her lover. All these depictions, sculptures you can find. So we go to slide number, this was slide number 5. And Bhanas, because they were not studied by the earlier authors who wrote on the history of Sanskrit literature. So maybe Winternitz and Keith, they are not aware of the richness of Bhana literature. So they have referred to some Bhanas, but they are not aware the enormous mass of Bhana literature that is produced in Sanskrit literature. Even before Chaturbhani, Bhanas were produced, but they are not available. The Bhanas of Chaturbhani are the earliest Bhanas that are available to us. After Chaturbhani, we have so many Bhanas, hundreds of Bhanas available to us. So the indictment of Keith and other scholars, other Western Indologists, that Sanskrit drama doesn't depict the realities of the society, they have not read. These Bhanas were not available to them. Such a little quantity of Sanskrit literature was available to them. On the basis of that, they are forming some wrong notions, and they have presented a very distorted picture of Sanskrit literature. And still, because they are revered, Winternitz, Keith, Max Muller, and the other scholars, they do not study the whole Sanskrit literature, and they make this and that remark about our literary traditions. And they say that there is no middle class society, there is no lower class society in Sanskrit literature. The whole lot of Bhanas is depicting very living pictures of the middle class, lower middle class, and the lower classes, and even the pathetic life of the courtesans, the Ganikas. So K.V. Krishnamacharyulu, who is a traditional Pandit and a good grammarian of our times, he wrote a thesis on Bhanas in Sanskrit, Bhana Vangmaya Charitam. This work by him is available, and you can consult that. About 200 Bhanas he discusses. Slide number 6. Bhana Vangmaya Charitam by K.V. Krishnamacharya. It is published from Sanskrit Academy, Hyderabad in 2010. It is easily available. So those students who are, or those researchers who are interested in the depiction of realities of life in Sanskrit drama, they should study Mritshikatikam, Chaturbhani, Shangarhat, and this thesis by K.V. Krishnamacharya. It's a good work. Then, as I told you, that there are Bhanas written in Sanskrit before Chaturbhani also. So we'll go to the period of Chaturbhani, it is Gupta period. So before Gupta period also, there were Bhanas. Right from maybe 1st century, 2nd century, there were Bhanas. So the Acharyas of dramaturgy, the masters of Sanskrit dramaturgy, the Acharyas after Bharata, who wrote on dramaturgy, they refer to many Bhanas. So we go to slide number 7. Sagar Nandi, the author of Natak Lakshan Ratna Kosha, refers to Patralekha, Shangar Manjari, and Veena Vati, 3 Bhanas. He refers to these 3 Bhanas. Natak Lakshan Ratna Kosha is a well-known work of 12th century in Sanskrit by Sagar Nandi. Then 13th century, Sharda Tanay wrote Bhav Prakash. He is one of the great thinkers on dramaturgy and on rasa theory. And in his Bhav Prakashan, he also refers to 3 Bhanas. One Bhana is common, as per the mention of Sagar Nandi, in the mention of Bhav Prakash. So Nandimati, Shangar Manjari, and Veenavati. These 3 Bhanas are referred by Sharada Tanaya, the author of Bhav Prakash. So maybe that these bhanas are earlier to Chaturbhani. Chaturbhani is very well known. These masters of dramaturgy, they are referring to Chaturbhani, but they are also referring to other bhanas. So we find that these 5 bhanas are referred, and they are unfortunately lost. They are not available. Most probably they were earlier. They were written before Chaturbhani. So we see that there is a very rich tradition of bhana in Sanskrit, and Chaturbhani forms a specimen of the best of bhana literature. So we go to the names of these 4 bhanas and the names of their authors. So there is a slide. You can read the names there. You must remember these names because we are going to discuss all the 4 bhanas. So we are not going to discuss one single play. Today we will be discussing all these 4 bhanas, maybe one by one or taken together. So we go to slide number 8. So Ishwar Datta, he has authored Dhurta Vita Samvada. The title of the bhana is Dhurta Vita Samvada. You can just understand that it is, there are dialogues between Vita and the rocks, Dhurtas. Then Shudraka, there is a controversy whether he is the same Shudraka who authored Mrachikatika. Even the authorship of Mrachikatika is dubious, whether really Shudraka really wrote Mrachikatika, we do not know. So, but in the manuscripts of Padmaprabhataka, Shudraka is mentioned as the author. And since Mrachikatika, or the prototype of Mrachikatika, must have been written long back before Gupta period, so that Shudraka, the legendary hero, might not have written Padmaprabhatak. There are many other authors who are named Shudraka. In Banbhatta's Kadambari, the hero is Shudraka. Shudraka was a common name. So maybe he is any other, maybe he is some other author, but many scholars believe that the same Shudraka who authored Mrachikatika, he wrote Padmaprabhataka. But there are others who do not agree. There is some similarity in the style of Padmaprabhataka with Mrachikatikam. But all these 4 bhanas, you see, they recreate the whole world of Mrachikatikam. Only the kings and Brahmins like Charudatta, the great noble characters like Charudatta, they do not appear. Otherwise the Ganikas, the Vitas, the thieves, the gamblers, and many other characters which are dominating the scene in Mrachikatika, they appear. And many more characters, of course. There is a galaxy of the whole gamut of characters from middle and lower middle class appearing in Bhana. So all these 4 Bhanas were supposed to be written in Gupta period. This is what Vasudev Charan Agrawal and Moti Chandra conjecture. I will not go into the details. Why the name Chaturbhani is given? When they are independent bhanas, the authors are quite independent and they are supposed to be contemporary. We are not sure whether they existed in one single time, and certainly they are not living in the same city. So there is not a group of 4 authors who are authoring a Chaturbhani, but 4 independent authors writing 4 independent bhanas. Then why cluster them together? Why make a group and call these 4 bhanas as Chaturbhani? Chaturbhani means a cluster of 4 bhanas. Chaturnam bhananam samuha. So why this samuha? Why they are taken together? This is the question. So the name Chaturbhani is not a new name. The tradition recognizes these bhanas as Chaturbhani. So the tradition is aware that these bhanas can be grouped together. They have so much similarity that you can group them together. This is a cluster of 4 bhanas, and their manuscripts were found together. The manuscripts were discovered of all the four Bhana, the manuscripts were found together. So they are restored together. So maybe there is a combination, affinity between these four Bhanas. They have similarity, so many similarities in respect of theme, plot design, and other things. Although Ramakrishna Kavi, who earlier edited the Chaturbhani, and Ramnath Shastri, his co-editor, they didn't agree with this view. They said that no, there is no connection. The authors are different. They may be living in different times, in different cities. So why group them together and give the name of a single volume as Chaturbhani? But there are many other authors, scholars, like Moti Chand and Vasudev Sharan Agrawal, who believe that the name Chaturbhani is justified and we can group together these four Bhanas. Why this title, Chaturbhani, is justified? And it has become easy for me to take all the four Bhanas in one single lecture, because they are grouped together and we can treat them as a cluster. And one single volume of four Bhanas we can discuss. So there is a traditional stanza about the Chaturbhani. So you can understand that as there are verses, Subhashitas about Kalidasa, about Bhavabhuti, so there are critical notes in the tradition about Chaturbhani also. So the tradition recognizes that there are four Bhanas that can be grouped together. So this traditional verses is cited in the volume of Shangar Hat. Atha Varuruchirishwara Dattah Shyamilakah Shudrakascha Chattvara Ete Bhanan Bhavanu Ka Shakti Kalidasasya. It's a very challenging tone. The author of this stanza says that Vararuchi, who authored Upyavisarika, Ishwar Datta, who authored Dhurtavit Samvada, Shyamilak, who authored Padataditakam, and Shudraka, who authored Padma Pravratakam. These are the names of the authors and names of their Bhanas. So these four, Yate Bhanan Bhavanu, they composed Bhanas. They were the real Bhanakaras, he says. And Ka Shakti Kalidasasya. What power Kalidas has before them. He dares to challenge even Kalidasa, that let Kalidasa come and compose such a Bhana as Vararuchi, Ishwar Datta, Shyamilak and Shudrak composed. And it is true. Kalidasa couldn't compose because his temper is not suited to a Bhana. Bhana is a different kind of genre. So a Kalidasa or a Bhavabhuti cannot create a Bhana. There is a vulgarity in it, absurdity. The absurdity of whole life is treated. So only those who have lived that life, who have gone through that, and who have understood that, they can give it vent to, they can describe it. Maybe some poet who tries it, he can do it, but there are inclinations, there is a temperament, there is a Ruchinam Vaichitrya, it is the taste of a poet. So they are poets of very good taste. They talk of sublimity of life, grandeur of life. So here, the life which has sunk down in the low, in the underworld, you can say. So that life is treated, depicted, and these are the poets. And it is, as the literature is supposed to give a picture of life. The literature mirrors human life. So they do not teach us to talk in a vulgar way, but they are depicting the society so that we can have an understanding of the society, which is still there. Such red light areas are still there. Such characters are living amongst us. So they are cosmopolitan Bhanas. They are true in all the times. So there are many scholars who believe that all these four Bhanas were composed in Gupta period, but some Pandits believe that the Vararuchi or Katyayana, who authored the Vartikas, he has written this Ubhayavisarika, one of the four Bhanas, because the author is Vararuchi there also, but nobody believes in this theory. That Vararuchi, the grammarian, he is also supposed to have written a Mahakavya, but and that Mahakavya is not available. But the author of Ubhyavisarika, Varruchi, the author of Ubhyavisarika, cannot be the Varruchi who authored Vartikas, or the Katyayana who authored Vartikas and who came after Panini. So, T. Barrow has worked on the problem of the date of Chaturbhani, and he has cited several references from Padataditaka of Shyamilak to say that Padataditaka was composed towards the end of Gupta period, and maybe during the beginning of 4th century. This is his theory. T. Barrow also has worked on the problem, because Padataditaka is a very interesting play. Shyamilak, the author of it, was a great poet, and he was a great student of society and history and topology of his times. So he has given many historical references. Unfortunately, the scholars of history have not worked on them. The historians do not work on the historical sources in Sanskrit literature. They are overlooked. There have been some works on historical sources in Sanskrit literature. There are some volumes published by Tilak Maharashtra Vidyapeeth on the historical sources in Sanskrit literature. But adequate attention is not paid to Sanskrit literature as a source of history. So there are several historical figures mentioned by Shyamilaka in his Padataditakam. And it appears that he refers to some Chandradeva. That may be Chandragupta Diti. I think that he is Chandragupta the second, Chandragupta Vikramaditya. And Shyamilak is aware of Chandragupta Vikramaditya. The society and so many Samantas he names. The name of Mahapratihar Bhadrayudh occurs here, who was the ruler of Karud and Malad states, and some other historical characters are also mentioned. So, on the basis of these references, T. Barrow adjusts the date of Padataditaka between 410 to 415, early 5th century. Dr. Moti Chandra holds that all the Chaturbhanas were written between the last quarter of 4th century AD and first half of 5th century. So coming to the 4 Bhanas, we will first take up Padma Pravratakam by Shudraka. And the locale of 4 Bhanas is Ujjaini or Pataliputra, or a Sarubhom Nagar, which must be maybe Pataliputra, modern Patna. So these two cities are depicted. The streets and corners and bazars, the markets, the narrow lanes, and that prohibited area, it all comes into life in the whole narrative by Vita. He gives such lively descriptions of each and every phenomena he sees in the city, and there is no other literature in Sanskrit except Bhana. Only to an extent Mrachikatik is an exception. Mrachikatik paints the whole city of Ujjain in a very lively way, the whole real life of Ujjain, and how Shakara is chasing Vasansena on the streets of Ujjaini, how a court is there in Ujjaini, how a cemetery is there, how the merchant Charudatta and the house of Vasansena, his house and Ganika's house they are described, the carts are described running on the street, and Pushpakarandak Udyan, the city park, that is also there. So the whole, so many locales of Ujjaini, they are described in Mrachikatika. But in Bhana, we really enter into the real life of a city, or buzzing life of a city. So in Padma Pravrataka it is Ujjaini. And you see, very interestingly, Shudraka's Mrachikatik also has Ujjaini as its locale. And Padma Pravrataka, the Vita is going to convey the message of Mooladeva, his master, to his beloved Devsena. Devsena is a Ganika, and he is going on the streets of Ujjaini to convey the message of Mool Deva. Mool Deva is a legendary figure in Sanskrit literature. He is the lord of thieves, Choron ka Sardar, as you can say. And he is a great character because the thieves worship him. So far as I remember, Sharvilak remembers Mool Dev as his deity when he enters for a theft in the house of Charudatta. So these are very interesting things about our Indian society in the early medieval period or ancient period. And Muldeva comes to know that Devsena, his beloved, has fallen ill and is busy in some other business. He cannot come to see her. So he sends this Vita as his envoy to convey his message to her, message for her good health. And the Vita is going to inquire about the health of Devsena. He is walking through the streets and narrow lanes of the Ujjaini, and several characters on the way he meets, he addresses them. He hears the very interesting tales of their woes, their sorrows, their sufferings, and also their joys, their happy lives also. And people from so many professions he meets. He meets a poet. He has friendship with several people who are in several professions. So he meets a priest, he meets a son of a merchant, he meets a poet. So this poet whom he meets is named Saraswat Bhadra. And in a joking way he says that you are a cobbler who weaves the shoes of poetry. This is the language you will find in Chaturbhani. And you should understand the context to appreciate this language, because those who are highbrows may not like this kind of language for poetry. And this Saraswat Bhadra is a poet, of course. So he is a cobbler who prepares the shoes of poetry. This is what, in a joking way, of course, the Vita says. And this is a very interesting dialogue. We go to slide number 10. The Vita addresses this poet. Sakhe Katyayana Kimidam Akasha Romanthanam Kriyate. My friend Katyayana, what this Akasha Romanthan you are doing? Romanthan is, in Hindi it is Jugali, chewing the same thing again and again. The cows do this, ruminating. So you are doing Romanthan, chewing the same thing. You are in some deep thought and repeating maybe the same idea in your mind. So why this Romanthan you are doing? Akash Romanthan, in a space you are ruminating or something. So he replies, he is not visible. From Nepathya Grahi, that Saraswat Kavi Katyayan must have sent a reply. And this Vita says, Kim Bravishi, what do you say? So what he has said, Sayo Mam Kavi Pishacho Vahayati. Did you say that the same ghost of poetry is carrying me away? The same phantom of poetry has overtaken me. Vahayati Mam Kavi Pishacha. So this is the language, powerful language of course, but it may hurt the sensibility of those persons who have very high profile kind of outlook for life and who are not prepared to encounter this life, which is the real life, which is there with us every time. But we must understand that this is the life and this is the language that they speak, and they are very good human beings. What imagination in the language! And a modern poet in Hindi has used the same simile. He talks about a cobbler, Mochi, and he says that just as I weave the poetry, you prepare the shoes. It's a very modern kind of sensibility that you find in Chaturbhani. So he says, Vita, he says that don't too much indulge in your ruminations, in your chewing the same idea again and again. Don't be carried by your poetry. Ma tavat bho angho purana kavya cheda grathan charma kar. Kimidam nashta goyuthiyo gopalako navpadani anveshayase. You are an old charmakara or a cobbler who is weaving the poetry out of the padas of this height or charma of words. So a wonderful, you can say, metaphor he uses for the poet, but it's all a joke, you see. He meets the lowest of the lowly people also, and he meets the poets also, and he can joke with them in this language. He says, Nashta goyuthiyo gopalako navpadani anveshayase. Like a shepherd, like a cowherd, gopalak, who searches his lost cows. You are searching the words which have been lost, which you cannot locate proper words. So after that he meets one Darduraka. He is also a friend, and he laughs at the way this Vita is addressing his friend the poet. So he asks Darduraka, why are you laughing? Slide number 11. Kimatra hasya sthanam. What is the point of laughing at that? So Darduraka, what he replies? Vita hears what he has replied, and he says, Kim Bravishi, what do you say? Idam khalu bhavata samudrabhyukshanam kripe vagishwaram vagbhirarchyasi. What a beautiful language. You are sprinkling water on the sea by showering your small words, by showering your lowly language on a great poet. You are addressing a great poet who has such plenty of words and languages, and you are showering your small lowly words on this poet, like sprinkling a sea by your showers. Samudrabhyukshanam kriyate. So such language you will always find in each dialogue. Not that some examples we can cite. Every dialogue is impregnated with this kind of linguistic phrases. This is the beauty of Chaturbhani. It runs on that level of language. That language is full of such phrases, very beautiful phrases and metaphors and imaginations. This is, but it is a language very different from Kalidasa's language. It is the language which belongs to the people of that world, which is a kind of underworld, we can say. And they are scholars in their own way. They are very knowledgeable persons. Wit himself and the persons whom he meets. So in this Padma Pravratakam, Wit meets Datta Kalashi, who is in love with Rashnavatika. He is a courtesan, and he just taunts him. Then there is a Pavitraka. He is a very pious fellow. He is trying to save himself from the touches of the people who are walking on the street. His name is Pavitraka. And then Vasalak. He is laughed at by the courtesans as the old bull, Jaradgav. So all these words are there. And Sanghilak, a Buddhist monk who is coming out of the house of a courtesan. And that Sanghilak, the monk, is being laughed at by this Vita. This is the life. Even priests, they are visiting the houses of the courtesans and trying to present themselves as very pious person in the high society, but in the night they visit the houses of these courtesans. And this Buddhist monk, he sneaks away in the corner of this Veshwata, in this prohibited area. They are so full of desire to meet the courtesans. So many characters, the Tambul Sena Ganika, Kumudvati Ganika, Priyangu Yashtika, and very different kind of courtesans, you see. They have their own life, their tales of their life. They all come up. So the Vita meets all these characters, and ultimately he reaches the house of Devdatta. Devdatta, the beloved of Mooldeva, a great legendary hero, the lord of thieves. He reaches her house, but comes to know that she has already departed to meet her lover Mooldev herself. So Vita meets another Ganika, who also likes Mooldeva, and she sends a lotus flower for Mooldeva, that you also tell my message to Mooldeva that he should come to my house also sometimes. He should not be lost in the love of Devadatta alone. So take my gift for him. And this is Padma Pravratakam, the gift of Padma or lotus. So in this way, this Bhana by Shudraka, Padma Pravratakam ends. And the language, sometimes it is vulgar. Sometimes it is very poetic, very imaginative. All layers of language are there, but it is very rich language, you can say. Even if there are abuses, even if there is vulgarity, vulgarity is a part of our language. It is needed sometimes to show the life, the realities of life. So the absurd situations are also there, the absurdities at which we can laugh at. So we go to slide number 12, where some portion of a language of that type, it may appear to be a bit vulgar to you. We will read it. The Datta Kalashi, what he is telling Vita. So Datta Kalashi is a grammarian, a Vaiyakarana, and is a very pious Brahman. So you can see what Yangant and Lugant language he uses. And the authors, they are so great scholars. They pick up all kinds of languages in their time, and it is all spoken Sanskrit. This was the Sanskrit which was spoken in Gupta period. The Sanskrit of Gupta period of 4th century, which is a living language and spoken in the society. The Vit speaks Sanskrit throughout, and very fluent Sanskrit he speaks. So the Datta Kalashi loves a courtesan, Kanika, and he says, Sakhalu Punshali Purvedyu Parvakale Vesha Koshtakam Upete Riransaya Mam Havir Juhu Shantam Jigrakshati Vopasi. That Punshali, that wanton woman, came to me, and I was doing my Havana. I was performing my ceremony of Havi, and she grabbed me, and that was not proper for her. So I told her, Tato aham enam avocham. I told her, Vrashali, ma havir juhu shantam ma sprakshi. Oh Vrashali, oh you low woman, don't touch me. I am doing this religious rite. So, and that way they have parted. The Ganika was angry that, okay, I am going away. You called me, I came, and you are doing your religious ceremony, so I am going away. So he tells that she is now angry with me, how to please her. So Vita tells him, Hant idam tad dushta gandharvam nama. These are the ways with these Ganikas, with these artisans, And Sukumara Akila Kamini Parigraha. If you have chosen a woman, it is a delicate relationship with a woman. Istri Janopi Toya Kashtra Shabda Nishturabi Vyakarana Visfalingabhi Vagbhi Utrasaitavyo Bhavati. You are terrorizing a delicate lady by a language which has Spullingas or fire of Vyakarana, the Angara or sparks of Vyakarana it has, your language. It can burn a delicate lady like her, so that is why she has parted with you. And ultimately he cites this stanza, Idamapi natvaya ashrutapurvam. Did you not hear? This is the wise saying which we must remember. Ratyarthini rahasiya sukumara chittam kantam sabhav madurakshara lalaniyam vagarchisha sprashati karna virechanena raktam savadayati vallaki mulmukena. Very touching simile. A person who neglects a lady who has approached him with love, a delicate lady, Sukumar Chitta, and Ratyarthini lady, desirous of his love, and the lady who is worthy of sweet word, delicate word, Subhav Madurakshara Lalaniyam, she should be treated by sweet talk, and he touches him by Vagarchi, by the fire of his speech, by such burning words he addresses him. And Karna Virechanena, that is a kind of a catharsis for the ears. This language, you see, this kind of language you may not find elsewhere except to an extent in Mratchakatik. So Karna Virechanam Vacha, this is what he says. The ears cannot tolerate, and they throw it out. Raktam savadayati vallaki mulmukena. That person who does this thing by addressing a delicate lady by these burning words. He is playing a vallaki. Vallaki is a small veena. He is playing a small veena vallaki by ulmuk, a burning rod. Ulmuk is mashal or burning rod. So this is the simile there. Then there are so many words which are very peculiar, which occur in the language of the Vitas there, you see, in that locality. So we go to slide number 13. In this Padma Pravratakam we see such words. Pratha Mundana Chitri Dadru. This Buddhist monk who has his head shaved. So he addresses him that you are also coming from the house of a Ganika. So Pratha Mundana Chitri Dadru. You have white spots on your head because your head is shaved. So it is, Dadru is Dad, the white spot on the skin disease. So you got this skin disease. You look as if infected by the skin disease and Pratha Mundan. So Kalah Kandu Bandhura. This is the idiomatic phrase for a lady who is always ready to quarrel. So she has itching for Kalah, quarreling. Kalah Kandu Bandhura. Istri. Choksha Pishach. A very beautiful word coined for a person who is always talking of sanctity. A priest or Brahman, he is visiting the locality of the Ganikas, and yet he is talking of Chokshata. So he is described as Choksha Pishach. He is possessed by the ghost of Chokshata, ghost of his sanctity. Then several kinds of Ganikas, the words are used for them. And Padataditaka, a very beautiful sentence, they are very interesting. Yavani Ganika Vanari Nartaki Malvaha Kamko Gardho Gayaka iti Gunaka iti Gunata Sadharanam Avgachami. Quality wise, all these are similar to me. The Vita says, Yavani, a lady which doesn't belong to our society, she comes from other country, Yavani, Yavan Desh. But Yavanis are coming and they are also doing this profession of Ganikas, prostitution also they are doing. Yavani Ganika Vanari, she monkey, Nartaki, danceuse, Malwa, a person of Malav country, and Kamuk, and Gardhab, a donkey, and Gayak, a singer, who is a singer by profession. So all of them are similar. This is in a joking way. The Vita of Padataditakam says. And there are very rare words, like Dinditva for a goon. So this is Padma Pravratakam. We come to the next Bhana. It is Dhurtvit Samvada by Ishwar Datta. Its locale is Pataliputra. The locale of Padma Pravratakam is Ujjaini. Locale of Ishwar Datta Dhurtvit Samvad is Pataliputra, modern Patna. The Bhana begins with the description of rainy season. Very, very picturesque descriptions of seasons are also there. All the authors of these Bhanas are good poets, and they have very minute and subtle observation of natures, and more minute and subtle observation of the city life, the life of citizens they describe. And their imagery, their imagination is wonderful in a way. Only they belong to a different class of society. It is not the society we find in Kalidasa or Bhavabhuti. It is a different society. And that society, you see, is a larger society than the select, elegant society of which maybe the other great playwrights talk of. So the name of the Vita here is Devilaka, and the good thing about this Bhana is that the Vita Devilaki is has not come here to solve any problem. The other Vitas, you see, they are told about so many problems. Some Ganika telling of her problem to them, some person telling of her problem to them, and he is also supposed to solve their problems. He is advising them. So he is roaming in the city, walking on the streets, talking to the people. He is solving their problems also. But this Vita of Dhurtvit Samvada just talks to the people in a very jolly way. He doesn't face any problems. They describes their lives and their happenings, and it is simply roaming in a jolly walk in the city. He meets Krishnilaka. he is going to Veshvata, the locality of the Ganikas, in a concealing way, hiding from his father. He cannot tell his father. His father will beat me. He is a young boy and he is going to Veshvata. So a lively dialogue with this Krishnilaka. And then he meets Ramdasi, a courtesan, and Ratisena, another courtesan, Pradyumna Sena, another Ganika. And he talks to them about their joys of life, jokes with them. Then he enters the house of Sunanda and Vishwalaka. Two lovers, they are very happy with each other and they are good friends of him. So ultimately he lands in their house. With this Dhurtvit Samvada comes to an end. So this was about Dhurtvit Samvada. But it presents a very lively evening of Pataliputra city. It gives such a graphic evening, picture of such a lively evening in the city. And the Vita is enamored by the beauty of city himself. All the authors of these Bhanas, they love their city. So they love their motherland, they love their city. In Padmapravratakam, the Vita says, what a city of Ujjaini. What beautiful city this Ujjaini is. The bazaars, the markets, all the streets, such a great city. And there is a locality of courtesans. Of course, they belong to that city, but they freely roam in the city and appreciate the beauty of the city. That beauty of the city is also there. So the beauty of the whole Pataliputra, this Bhana by Ishwara Datta describes, and the Mahatmya of Pataliputra, the glory of Pataliputra he describes. So we go to slide number 14. Dhatara Sulabha Kala Bhumata Dakshinya Bhogya Shriya. Donors are here, easily available. Men of charity, donors are here. And you can enjoy plentiful prosperity of life quite generously. Kala Bhumata, so many arts are here. Dakshinya Bhogya Shriya. Such a prosperity and all the types of enjoyments available here. And Nonmatta Dhanino Namatsarayuta Vidya Vinita Hanara. Second line. The rich persons are there, but they are not made after money. They are not made for money. And they are not envious. Namatsarayuta Vidya Vinita Hanara. The citizens of this city are very cordial and they are very humble. Sarva Shishta Katha Paraspar Gunagrahi Kritagyo Jana. All the people, they are very sophisticated and Paraspar Gunagrahi. They are very grateful. They have gratefulness, the quality of gratefulness also. And they are Gunagrahi. They appreciate each other's qualities. Shakyam bho nagare surairapi divam santejya labdhum sukham. This is the fourth line. Oh, in this city, even the gods, if they leave heaven, they will be happy to live here. This is what the Vita and the poet also of this Bhana says. Then we come to Ubhyavisarika, the next Bhana by Vararuchi. So in Ubhyavisarika, Kuber Datta, the son of merchant Sagar Datta, is going to appease his beloved Narayan Datta, a courtesan, and he sends Vita as his envoy, as his messenger. So Vita works as a messenger, as a go-between a courtesan and her lover. And all these courtesans, you see, they have some character of their own. They are not made after money, they are not so greedy. So there is an image of Ganika prevalent in our society, but Vatsyayana in his Kama Sutra, if you read the 6th chapter of his work, you will find that these courtesans were more tortured by men than they used to torture or deceive the men. This was the life. So they needed this Vita as a go-between who could protect them when the men were torturing them. So this Vita is a go-between, and he is walking, roaming on the streets of Pataliputra, and ultimately he reaches the house of Narayana Datta. In the way he meets Vilas Kondani, Anang Datta, Ramsena, and so many other ladies. He addresses them, he had jokes with them, lovely talk he has, and then he tries to make up between Kuber Datta and Narayana Datta. So both of them are reconciled. With this Bhana ends. There is a very good poetry, and the way city and the beauties of city and the beautiful ladies are described by the Vita. I will just read, hurriedly I will read a verse from this Vita, from this Bhana. Mukta alankar shobham nakharapad rachitam gandha tailangaragam ishrattamranta netram prasita vadanam yauvanadhyam सुषक्ष्णोरुवक्त्रां व्यपरत रशनां प्यायत श्रोणि बिंबां दृष्ट्वा त्वां चारुरूपां प्रविचलित धृतिर manmathopyaturasyath. It is a picture of the lady, and even Manmatha would be yearning to meet such a beautiful lady, he says. So all these pen pictures of beautiful ladies are there, and the whole culture of the city is also portrayed, because Ganikas also were working for the culture of the city. They were good artists and they were performing plays. So in two of the Bhanas there are references to Sangeetakas, a kind of a play, a form of drama which is the Ganikas are presenting. So in this Bhana, Ubhyavisarika, a play called Purandar Vijay, that is going to be performed by the courtesan. So they are doing dramas, they are playing, they are of course good dancers, good musicians, and they have good artists, they employ good artists. So that way they have respectful place also in the city, they are respected. And in a way Ganikahood was a respected office. Some of the Ganikas, they were even appointed as counselors by the king. They could be given the status of a minister. They were asked for counsel also. So all this is life, and we must understand this life also. So the modern society might be having taboos about this life, because we have inherited a colonial legacy. So we have forgotten many things about our ancient Indian life. So they are performing plays, and this play is described in detail. And the Vita says that he addresses the heroine of the Bhana, and some Devadatta, another courtesan, is having a rivalry with her, and she has entered into a competition. And then he says, Aho Devadattaya akushalata. What an inept lady that Devadatta is. Ya toyasa sangarsham kurte. She has entered into a rivalry or competition with you, because you are expert in Natya Shastra. And then he describes so many categories of Natya Shastra, that you have practiced this Ashtau Rasaha, Trayo Gita Vaditradi, Layaha, Shat Sthanani, Gatidvayam, Ashtadash Vidham Nirikshanam, Chaturvidha Vinaya Siddhi, Dvatrinshad Vido Hasta Prachara. So you can compare the categories of Natya Shastra and how the courtesans are taught Natya Shastra, they learn Natya Shastra, and at least they are well versed in Chatushashti Kalas and so many arts, and they are performing, and they are having competitions also. When the performances are there are competitions. So these competitions are described in the Chaturbhani. And this beauty of Kusumpura, Pataliputra is also referred as Kusumpura. In Mudra Rakshasa also it is called Kusumapura. So the Vita says, Aho, slide number 15, Aho Kusumpura Rajmargasya Parashri. What a beauty of the highway, Rajmarg of Kusumpura. Susikta Susamroshto Chavacha Kusumopahara Anya Grahanam Vasagrahayante Rathya. The streets are very good, have very good habitats, and flowers are scattered there. And Kray Vikray Vyaprat Janena Shobhante Apan Mukhani. All the gates of the markets, they are opened, and shopping is going on. It is all hustle and bustle in the market is going on. So all these activities are described. We come to the third bhana, that is Padataditakam. And this is a very good bhana. And Shamilaka, the author, is cited by so many acharyas in our Kavya Shastra tradition. We go to slide number 16. Shamilaka has given a little introduction about his father and his family. He says, Kaveh Udichasya Vishweshwar Putrasya Shamilakasya Kriti. This is the work by the son of Vishweshwar, whose name is Shamilaka. He comes from Udicha Desha, from the southern corners of the country. And T. Barrow holds that Shamilaka was in Gupta period. The locale of Padataditakam is one Sarvabhauma Nagar, and it is presumed that Pataliputra is Sarvabhauma Nagar actually, because Chandragupta Dvitiya was known as Sarvabhauma. The title of Sarvabhauma was given to Chandragupta, and these Gupta kings, they had connection with Pataliputra. Their kingdom was in Pataliputra. So Pataliputra is Sarvabhauma Nagar, where the Sarvabhauma Chandragupta II rules. And very beautiful picture of Pataliputra, and so many historical references, and so many kinds of people living there, ethnicity of the city. So whole anthropology and sociology of the city he describes. That way Shamilaka is very important in revealing so many details of historiography, topology. All these bhanas are very good for the study of ancient Indian geography and history also. So we read this stanza on slide number 17. Shaka Ivana Tushara Parashikei Magad Kirat Kalinga Vang Kashai Nagara Mati Muda Yutam Samanta Maishaka Chola Pandya Keralaishcha. So it's a cosmopolitan city, Pataliputra. That is why it is also called Sarvabhauma Nagar. All the citizens from the corners of the world, they come here because so much business is there. So people from other countries, Shaka, even Tushar and Parshik, the Turks and Parsis, Shakas, etc., they also are coming. And Magad, Kirat, Kalinga, Vanga, from these localities, people are coming over here. And even from south, Chol, Pandya and Kerala countries, people come here for business. That is why it is a cosmopolitan city. And as I have told you, there are historical figures mentioned by Shamilaka, and we have to work out about their identity. I will not go into further details. The story in Padataditakam is very interesting, very different kind of a story. That there is a courtesan, a prostitute maybe, Madan Sena. She has kicked the Brahmin Vishnu Sharma on his head. And Akuncha Pani Mashuchim Mamamurni Veshya. This is a shloka occurring in Mamata's Kavya Prakasha, cited in Kavya Prakasha. There also Vishnu Sharma, a Brahman, laments that Veshya, that Madan Sena kicked me on my feet, kicked me on my head by her foot. The same thing happens here, although that stranger doesn't occur here. So the Brahman Vishnu Sharma, whom she kicks, she lodges a complaint into the assembly of Vitas. It's very interesting that the Vitas of the city had a kind of union. So all the Vitas had meetings sometime, and they had a kind of union. And this Vishnu Sharma reaches in their assembly, and he lodges a complaint that you people are supposed to regulate these courtesans, and that Ganika, she has sunk so low that I am a pious Brahmin, and she has kicked me. And not only kicked me, she kicked me on my head. So she touched me by her feet and kicked me. And this is a very interesting event that happens. It's a lot of commotion is there in the assembly. They discuss what should we do. This complaint we have received, and the hero of this play, he is going to attend that assembly. He is walking on the streets, he is meeting the people, and ultimately he reaches there in the assembly, and various kinds of discussions are done what to do with this, with this Brahman who has come to us to lodge this complaint. Ultimately they say that you should drink the water washed by her feet. That is the punishment for you. Instead of rectifying his complaint, they punish him. It's very interesting, because this is foolish Brahman. Why should he go to lodge such a foolish complaint? Why should at all he visit if he is such a pious Brahman? So it's a great irony. And a great thing about Pada Taditakam is that it has a courtroom scene also. And the Adhikarana, as we see in Mratchakatikam, the Adhikarana, the judge is sitting, and several employees of that court, Adhikarana, they are also mentioned. One person who calls for the cases, who gives a call for the cases, he is also mentioned, and Nyayadhisha Vishnudasha, the Adhikaranik, is also mentioned. And there is a case going on. Some Ganika has lodged a complaint about her loss in the court. So that Vita describes the happenings in the court. So this is a good description of a court running its business, doing its business. And I was in a misunderstanding that only Mratchakatik has a courtroom scene, but Pada Taditakam also has this wonderful scene of a court, legal court, you can say. And several highbrows of the society, several persons of the higher society, Samantas, Senapati, Amatyas, because they also visit this locality. They are hiding themselves and they are visiting this locality. So Vita addresses them, he meets them. So all these things are there in Pada Taditakam, which has been cited by Abhinav Gupta and Abhinav Bharati, by Kshemendra in Ochitya Vichar Charcha, and in some other texts also. So Shamilak, the author of Pada Taditakam, was a well-known poet. And the good thing about Bhanas is that all the other Bhanas also, they present a very lively picture of the life in the family, life of middle class society, and the outlook for life, that they are living a very happy life, they are happy in themselves. And this satire, irony of life, that is also there. So I will not go into the details. Some hundreds of names of these Ganikas, they are also there. Paryuti, Madanduti, Preshivati, Chetika, Vesh Devta, Vrashali, Chamaragrahini, etc. Various types of maid servants, maids, they are described. Various types of male servants are also described. So a great huge society, a great mass of people, they appear in these Bhanas, you can say. And a galaxy of characters, merchants, Amatyas, and several other persons, they appear here. And these Bhanas discover the grandeur and beauty amidst this filth and joys, the joy of life and its own aesthetics. There is a refinement and elegance and chastity of language also in their dialogues. So it's a unique treasure of literature, these Bhanas. And we have very idiomatic usages, such usages which were prevalent in their conversation, such witty remarks these Vitas they make. So I will read out some passages and we will wind up after that. Pishunasthamiva Rahasyam. This is slide number 19. Pishunasthamiva Rahasyam Samantato Nishkasati Pushpam. The description of the beauty of language is there. But what kind of language? The flower is blooming. And the Vita says in Padma Prabhatakam that like a Pishuna, like a snake, like a backbiter who cannot retain a rahasya in his heart, who cannot keep a secret within him, and he just divulges it out. He just speaks it out. In the same way, the bud is blooming as a flower. So this is the simile he gives. So very different kind of similes you will have, but they are appropriate similes in their own way. Again you see in the same bhana, Ramaniyam khalu tavadidam shishir jara jarjarasya samvatsar vitasya him rasayanopayogat vasanta kaishorakam utpadyate. This samvatsar vita, the year, who is a vita, has become old due to this autumn, due to this winter season, and Vasanta has brought a kind of rejuvenation for him and has made him young again, has converted him into a young boy again. So what an appropriate simile from a person who lives in a kind of locality which belongs to the Vaishvata. And he is giving this simile because they are using rejuvenations and herbs to make an old man young. So the samvatsar or year had become young due to the winter season, and now the Vasant has rejuvenated him. So this is the, and beauties of language through very good idioms. So he says, Kim nabhigyoham yoyor anyonya manorath dutakanam nayana sangatkanam. So your meeting of eyes, am I not aware? The meetings of your eyes which has become the messenger of the desires of your longings for each other. So very elegant phrases also you will find, and very rare usages also find. And the grammarian is addressed as Akshara Kosthagara. Go to slide number 20. Rare words like dhantra, dinda, etc. they are used. Dudrushu, such peculiar, such kirshu, tishtha tavat kimapi dudrushu, because he is a grammarian, the person who is being addressed. So he speaks in this language. And then Datta Kalashi, a grammarian, is addressed as Swagatam Akshar Koshthagaraya. Welcome to you who are a treasure of alphabets, etc. Then he complains, this Datta Kalashi, the Vyakarana, Bali Bhukbhiriva Sanghata Balibhi Katantrikai Ravaskandita. These Katantra Vyakaranas, the followers of Katantra Vyakaran, they have just eaten me out like crows greedy for flesh. So Sanghata Balibhi Bali Bhukbhiriva. So this is the language he is speaking. And so many Prachanna Punshaliko Choksha, Chokshvadita, a person who is always crying for Chokshata, sanctity, he is called Chokshvadita. He is just playing the music of Choksha always. Na deepena agni marganam kriyate. A lamp would not search fire himself. Such beautiful sentences are also there in Padma Prabhatakam. So I will omit very beautiful descriptions of Ujjaini. Slide number 21 we can read one stanza from Padma Prabhatakam, the descriptions of Ujjaini. So the Vita knows the whole religious ceremonies and the temples resounding with bells, such a pious city, Ujjaini. Punyas Tavad Vedabhyasa Dhiradarasa Turaga Ninada Dhenu Dhenurgunad Niswana Rashyam Shravyam Vidvad Badash Chaturudadi Samudaya Falai Krita Vipani Kriya Kitam Vadyam Dyutam Hasyam Kvachitapicha Vitakatha Kvachit Sakala Kala Krida Pakshi Rubdhash Chema Prachura Kara Valaya Rashna Swana Graha Panktaya. The lines of houses, the birds chirping there, the Vitas talking to each other, songs, playing of instruments going on, the gambling scenes are there on many squares, and the debates are going on amongst the scholars, Vidvad Bada and Vipani Kriya, the shopping activities going on in the markets, and Vedabhyasa, the chanting of Ved Mantra, that is also going on, and the chariots passing, the horses going on, the elephants going on the streets. So all these picturesque descriptions of the city, this is only one example, and all the Bhanas, you see, till 18th century, because if you go through the work of Brahma and my history of Sanskrit literature. So you will find descriptions, such descriptions of different cities, even the southern cities, a town in Kerala, in Mysore, they are described in a very lively way. So we will end with it, and I thank you for this patient hearing. Lastly, we can go through for 5 minutes. We can go through slide number 24, and there is a sympathetic note for women in this. So the female discourse is very powerful, and it should be understood in the modern context. And that satire Vita uses for those who rebuke a woman. So in the slide number 24, the Vita says, Ye kaminim gunavatim cha sayovanam cha narim narah pranayanim cha vimanayanti tebho krashival vacha paridagdha chitta govi samam prathumkheshu haleshu yojjah. Such expressions, they are always occurring in the speeches of Vita. So he says that those men who are humiliating their beloved ladies, who is a virtuous lady, young virtuous lady, they are, you see, like bulls. They are as full as bulls. So they should be given the work of farming. They should be joined to the plows like the bulls. They deserve that. So this is the condemnation of those who rebuke women. And a very sensitive note for ladies, even for the Gadikas, who are actually the sex workers. So very sympathetic note for them, and very pathetic moments of their life. All the Varnas describe. So a Ganika can love through the whole depth of her heart. So such Ganikas are also depicted in the Bhanas of Chaturbhani. So we will close this discussion with a picture of such a Ganika, Shonadasi, in Padma Pravratakam. Slide number 25. Aho ayam Shonadasi kimapi chintayanti dvarakoshtakamevopavishtha. This Shonadasi has been deceived. She is waiting for her lover who is not turning up, and she is longing to meet her lover, and she loves him through the depth of her heart. So she is all absorbed in her reveries, in her anxiety, and she is sitting on the threshold of her house waiting for him. And you can just hear the echoes of Meghdut of Kalidasa, because these poets have gone through the whole literary tradition. They are aware of the Mahakavya's plays, and the Vitas are also, they are scholars. They speak, whenever required, they can speak in a very elegant, chaste, scholarly language. So the description of the heroine, who is actually a Ganika in separation, she is yearning to meet her lover. So Tat Kimidanim Nirmukta Bhushana, she has put out all her ornaments. Malina Pravrakar, the Samrata Sharira Lavanya, she has put on only one shawl on her body. Half of her body is covered. The beauty of her body is covered by that Pravaraka. And Rakta Chandananu Lipta Lalata, she has put on the red sandal on her forehead. Sita Dukula Pattika Veshtita Shirshavanat Vadana Chandra Mandala, Shret upper garment on her shoulders, on her head, that she has tied, and she has bowed down her moon-like face, and she is playing a Vallaki, Ankadi Runam Vallaki, with the small veena in her lap. Very slowly she is stirring her fingers on the strings of that Vallaki or small veena. Ishat Karei Ravaghattayanti Kakali Manda Madhurena Swarena Keshika Shai Maku Vijanti Tishtati. Very slowly she is singing this Keshika Shai Raga. Keshika is a kind of raga. These Vitas know the music. Kakali, they know, it is a technical term in musicology. So as sweet as a Kakali Swara, she is singing the this in the swaraj based on Keshika. So this is a pathetic picture of the woman waiting for her lover. So we will end here. Thank you very much. Thank you.